to-do lists. They're great, and I've learned how to use them. Here's a short video about my experience with them and why I think that you should use them too. These things have made me so much more productive, intentional, and organized in my everyday life. I make a point of writing them every night before I go to bed for the next day, and make them a list of most of the main tasks that I'm gonna have to complete in that day. I feel that it helps give my day structure and actual purpose. If I complete those tasks, then I've succeeded in that day. And if I don't, I know that I need to be better in that next day. I've always used a calendar and I don't intend on stopping. However, I think that to-do lists are an important accessory to this, just to let you know what you need done and what you can fill your time with throughout the day. I use my calendar now more for things that need to be done at a certain time, such as classes or placements, and then I use my to-do list for everything else that I need to do throughout the day. Generally, I still will have my to-do list in order of how I want to do it. However, this isn't fixed. If I get extra time before I work out, I'm gonna do the thing that comes after working out before then. Essentially, it gives my day structure without being too fixed. Previously, when I put out a task on my calendar, if it got 3 minutes past that task, then I was less likely to complete it properly because I've already lost 3 minutes. And while it might sound silly, I think that putting my tasks in a to-do list rather than a calendar just make them feel like something separate that I can complete, rather than just a period of time where I should be doing something. And for some reason that works a lot better for me. I think that it's worth noting that just like anything else, this is a skill. It took me a while to figure out my to-do list, and I went through various different iterations of how I did them. Initially, it was just a list of everything that I was supposed to do that day, which doesn't really work because it's tiring to tick off brush your teeth and everything like that. Then I started segmenting it into what's more important and what's less important, and while this did kind of work, for me it just felt a bit useless separating those, and I was constricting myself to only having so little tasks in a day, even though sometimes 2 tasks might be a lot, but other days 10 might be achievable, just simply based on what I'm doing. So I think that a more fluid model works best. What I've landed on is just a list of the different main tasks that I have to do that day in roughly the order that I have to do them. Some days it's just 4 tasks like this, and other days it can be about 6 or 7 tasks with a lot of subtasks that I put indented on the page. I think there's 3 main points that you need to follow regardless of what structure you might use for your to-do list. The first one is to have just enough tasks to fill out your day, plus 1 or 2. This is very hard to judge in the beginning, and like I said earlier, it's definitely a skill. When I first started, I was putting in way too many tasks, and at the end of it, I just felt like I kept on pushing those tasks to the next day, leaving me less motivated. The second is to just have 1 or 2 what I like to call layout tasks, which are just something easy that you can get out of the way, either filling in time or to get the ball rolling if you're feeling unmotivated. These tasks help me work towards ticking off the bigger tasks of the day. My third tip is to always write it before your day gets started. This might sound obvious to write it the night before or the morning of, but sometimes you just leave it, and when you write it in the middle of the day after you've either done a little bit or not done much at all, it kind of feels pointless to you, so I feel less tied to having to complete those tasks. When I write it the night before, I've already put that expectation on myself to complete these tasks the next day. Pretty much I owe it to myself. If I write it in the middle of the day, I'm less likely to complete it. I've got a couple links in the blog post linked to this video, as well as the description, that show you how to kind of build out a to-do list. There's a billion of these. These are just a couple that I resonate with. If there's one productivity hack that I'm gonna bring out of quarantine, it's gonna be this. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, consider following on my various social media channels, as well as my YouTube and looking at my blog. I talk about all of the different things I learned as a sport and exercise science student, and I'm just trying to share my experience as a coach and student. Thank you for watching.